do what I'm doing here today if it wasn't for Irvi, because she puts all this stuff together. She handles everything. And she's like 100% my partner. And she's one of the owners of National Real Estate Network, which there's a flyer in your packet too. And like it meets the third Thursday. Like this month, we've got Reggie Brooks coming, who is an expert in abandoned properties. I just wanted to thank you for your partnership and let everybody know that. Just thank you. Yeah. Not just thank you. Thank you. The other thing I wanted to put in too was, you know, everybody like talked about financial freedom and that's what you want. You know, like I'm playing a game right now, it's called 2020. I created this game, I got 20 months to live, you know, and if I had 20 months to live, what would I do? So, so I've got this game, it's called 2020, and I want to have passive income of $20,000 a month coming in at the end of 20 months. So that's the game I'm playing. And I created that as like a possibility for the future. So that's passive income. That means income I'm not associated with. They're not doing anything, and it shows up. So what I would like you to do is like, because people don't think about this, is like you're coming to the seminar, you're coming to a seminar and you're sitting like, I want to make money, I want to do this. So what I'm going to do right now is you get to tell your next door neighbor, the person sitting to you, I'm going to give you 1 minute each to share, like, what do you want to do with your life? Like, what are some of your goals or dreams or aspirations, or what do you see if you had financial independence, what would that bring you? And there's people in this room that are incredible at putting structures around that. So anybody that's like majorly good at doing that or coaching around that, why don't you raise your hand? Kristen, you want to raise your hand? There you go. So that's, you know, so there's some coaches for that. Okay. So let's postcards. And I think she handed out, did we hand out a pamphlet with some, we haven't? Do we have that? No? Okay. So postcards, what I went off of. Flyers. You can create your own flyer, but it needs to be just a simple flyer that says, basically, I buy houses for cash in any condition. And I've done incredibly well putting flyers out in the neighborhood. And when I put the flyers out in the neighborhood, I usually teamed up with a mortgage company, I teamed up with a home improvement company, I teamed up with a real estate company. And I would put 2 flyers out. They were printed front and back. And I had my flyer that said, I buy houses for cash on the top. And we'd roll them up and put them on the door. You can't put them in the mailboxes. We'd put them on the doors of the houses. And then the other company shared in the cost of doing that. So I basically put 4 kids into a neighborhood, put 2,500 flyers out in one day, paid each one of them $50. And then the other people that helped me do that, the real estate company, the mortgage company, the home improvement company, kicked in the money. And what happened was, off of those flyers, some of them would call back 4 months later and they would put the flyer on their refrigerator. So it's like you're like dumbfounded on the response, but that does work really good. And that way you can do a targeted area where you want to be and put flyers out in the neighborhood. So you can create door hangers too, where you just hang them. Like maybe you're in an area where it might upset somebody if you put a sticker on their door, so you could put a door hanger, you know, on it. Frank?
Another local company does door hangers like that, but they put something on the back side for lawn care or recipes or whatever have you, so you don't throw them away.
Yeah, that's good. I used to put this one up, and it says, urgent warning, this building has severe safety hazards. Just because the property is boarded doesn't mean it's safe. If you own this property and someone gets hurt on it, you could get sued and lose everything. We can help you. Stop putting yourself at risk. If you have any questions, please contact, wasn't my name, Ralph Miller, Washington Financial, LLC. Who called was not the person that owned the house, but who called was the neighbor. And then I had ones that said, that would say, if you know who owns this property, we'll pay a reward, you know, if we end up purchasing it. So then the neighbor's calling you to collect the reward. It could be, you know, one of these bandit signs. If it's a boarded up house, I just leave the sign. It's just a big business card, right? You just nail it to the boards, and although I've had my son nail nails through the boards, through the brand new windows on the other side, so you need to use common sense where you would put it. But we'll leave signs like that right on the house, and they'll call back and say, what in the heck are you doing putting this sign on my house? You had no right to do that. And they get really upset. And then what's the next question out of their mouth? How much will you pay for it? And inside that conversation, you actually can develop a great relationship with them. So what do you think I say when somebody calls like that? Like, what's a conversation you could have with them? They're really upset.
So I'm trying to help you.
I am, and you know what? If I can, I work teaching seminars, or you could say I'm part of a team, and they have over 4,000 investors on a database. We could actually do a broadcast out. I'm pretty sure I got a buyer. I was trying to find out what you got. That might be an alternative for us. You know, you owe us no money if we bring you a buyer. If we bring you a buyer, you owe us money. But if you sell it yourself, you don't owe us any money. It's a really simplistic way. And here you've got a house with no sign on it. And our advertising agreement allows us to get the word out. They're just not. See, a lot of people, they'll get in trouble and they don't want to tell anybody about it.
Yes.
So like in all my great ups and downs, one of the experiences I had was living in a house in Bloomfield Hills on Upper Long Lake, and all of a sudden I'm in foreclosure because of what I was telling you guys about. And when they put that sticker on your mailbox that says that you're being foreclosed on, what happens is a jillion investors back then, it's not as heavy now because there's a lot more foreclosures, they're all chasing you. So what it occurs to you when you're in that situation is like everybody in the world knows you're in foreclosure. And it's incredibly embarrassing. You don't want your neighbors to know and that. So they go into themselves. So that's a way to get that person to call you, and you can get into a conversation with them, and you know you can break ground. So that signs are a great way to do that. And that might not be their circumstance. It could be a death. They moved out of state. They're making double house payments. The house is in, I mean, it's a lot of different ways. But the point is, unless you're out generating these leads, you have to do that in order to have the conversation. And massive actions will bring you massive results, right? But then you can look at what the great deals are. And that's really what you're looking for yourself. But you shouldn't pass up the other opportunities where you can say to the realtor, how many realtors in the room again? Raise your hand. If somebody brought you a good deal to list, or do you have somebody in your office that's got a good deal to list, and you said to them, I want a 25% referral fee back. Well, let me ask you this way. How many of you know retail realtors that have major problem trying to get listings and stuff? And if you were a bird dog for them or you were finding them deals, they have absolutely no problem paying you 25% referral fee or more. Some of them couldn't generate it. You can do that. So this is a business we're talking about here today. So lead generation is a business. So you need to not waste your leads. Figure out how to disperse them. So magnetic signs is a very, very inexpensive way to promote yourself. And you can buy them. I don't know does anybody know the cost for putting magnetic signs on the side of your car that say you buy houses for cash? $20. And where would you go get those?
Reassigns.com.
What is it?
Reassigns.com.
Reassign. That's a great name. I've already talked about that. If you go on this Detroit Investment Homes website under resources, there's a place where you can order shirts and hats that say, I buy houses for cash.
Mark,
Yes.
driving for dollars and
It's called when you're out driving and you see a house that's boarded up, abandoned, the grass is tall, ugly. It's time to put a sticker on it, a sign in the front yard or something to get the people to call you back. It's time to go on the website, find out where the mail's going to, if it's going out of state. Like if you were in Detroit, you can go on the City of Detroit website, pick up and see where the tax bill's going and mail them.
or you can go to infospace.com.
Infospace.com.
Yep.
And do-
$40 will give you their whole life history, how old they are, how many kids they have, how old their kids are, listing of their neighbors' addresses on that block of their residential, all other addresses that have been listed for them. If they have judgment, bankruptcy, lawsuit, all other properties, $49 at infospace.com. It'll take you to a link called Intellius service, and it's nothing but skip tracer, or internet skip tracer for $40.
All right, so will you write that up on the board at the break for everybody so they can do that? Is anybody doing direct mail in the room? Or had experience with it? I've not done a lot of that, so I can't address it, but it does work. Business cards, we talked about that. Radio, I've done radio in the past, and it was a break even for me. It did not get the result that I wanted, and I think that radio is a very good source for doing it. I think I was on the wrong stations, so. Billboards, anybody done billboards? I've done it for charities where we put billboards up and they've been effective.
What's a billboard run average? Depends on the location.
It depends upon the location. A lot of the smaller billboards, you can get them anywhere from $100 up to $150. I'm talking about the ones that are probably the size of that screen where you see them on the side of small buildings. The billboards we were using, we had one we were paying $1,700 a month for, and we had one that we were paying $600 a month for, and that was on like 94. Oh, menus. If you're gonna, I got a sign from the back. If you want to eat here, pass your menus into the rows into the center, and somebody will collect them. Question?
Do you get to choose the location? They choose the location for you?
No, there's a bunch of different things you can do with billboards. You can go to a billboard company and say, I want to be put on your signs that are not occupied right now, and I don't mind being on a rotation deal. I need to get your cheapest possible deal, and you can move me anywhere. So there's different things that you can do with billboard companies, and I'm more into how I can do it for free. So, and I've tried the other way, and it's expensive cost per the number of leads you get. And the other thing is that people have already got the signs up to say we buy houses for cash. You should be on a billboard. You should call them and talk to them because maybe they're generating more leads that they can handle. And most people will share with you if you really get to know them a little bit and talk to you, and they could give you what their cost per month is and what the results are. Bus benches work. So there's a lot of places you can get those. And I got to be honest with you, I made my own bus bench and dropped it on a corner in the city of Detroit, and it stayed there for 5 years. Seemed like a good place for a bus bench. So, and I'm not recommending that. And then I had, I've also, when I found bus benches that are falling down or abandoned and needed to be refurbished and put back together, I've put them back together and put my signs on them because it seemed like a community service project. Newspapers, you can buy inserts to put into the newspaper and like kit it by zip code. So you can actually create your flyer that you want to go into the newspaper and hit the zip code you want. And you can do that fairly inexpensively. You have to provide them the flyers, the newspaper company stuffs them, and I've done that in the past. Now you can put an ad in the newspaper. It is effective, and we're in how many papers right now? 14? Well,
Oh, yeah, like 11 or 12.
we're like in 11 or 12 newspapers, and we figured out how to, you want to figure out how to try to get to the top of the newspaper, like what it would take to do that, like AAA, if that's what gets you there, if it's a logo or an emblem. Where are we in the top 4? So we're in the top 4 on how we got there. And out of those papers, how many leads are we averaging?
You get to 5 a day.
5 a day. And that's, the cost of that is, I'm just trying to give, we're in the Oakland Press every day, and we're in the Detroit News, we're in on Sunday. And that was like, for the Detroit News, I think it was like $3.50. And I don't know what the Oakland Press was.
Oakland Press was
$3.50. And that gets us into like a bunch of other newspapers with the Oakland Press, and we're in there every day. So that will generate leads.
$350 per day for zip code?
That's $350 per month. And that's in being in the free press. Now we got logos that go on ours and stuff like that. I think we have a bell that goes on ours.